Hello, hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Mod Monday. We have a train, we have a map, we have 9 mods all together. First, a disclaimer: this is just my opinion. There are wonderful mods there that I didn't involve here. Mr. Novo has a nice bitumen factory. Mr. Robs has several mods out. There's only one of them here. And check out other modders. Comrade Sky has a new underwater power cables. Check it out. I only have 9 mods here, and I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. First things first, Mr. Robs 074 Plastics Factory. Plastics factory based on a real building in Częstochowa. I think I hopefully read this correctly. Employs 45 workers, requires 2.3 tons of chemicals and 20 tons of oil, and produces 4.9 tons of plastic per day when fully staffed. So this is the factory. You can see currently it's not working because we're not supplying it. We're not gonna test it here, but works perfectly fine. It's compact, it's small, it's recreation of a real building, my favorite kind of modding. And yes, this is one of the standard things that Mr. Robs does. Anyway, description of the video, you have links to the mod. Mr. Toprus, he actually made Toprus 100. He actually made twice on this list. He has 2 unique buildings. One of them is Brick Kindergarten. That's the one that we are looking at now. Hi, my first building from education section. Maybe more will come later. It's a kindergarten number 16 from Jana Skolna Street in Gdynia. It was probably built in the 1950s. It has 8 workplaces. Each can hold 10 children, so maximum 80 children. I balanced it to the vanilla kindergarten. Has few pad connections from all sides, slightly cheaper than vanilla, supports text transparency. Text caption, have fun. Okay, I like this, of course, because it's a recreation of original building, and the only problem I have, not with this mod, but with the kindergarten mods in general, I remember when I was a child in kindergarten, we had more than 10 kids per minder. I think, okay, maybe not that much more, but anyway, it was a lot of us. we were probably nice kids, but anyway, real building, I love it. Mr. Wickham is back. High School of Matyáš Lerch. I don't think it's Lerch, it's Lerch. High School of Matyáš Lerch, a building inspired by a real-life high school having the same name in Brno. I don't know much about the building. According to my info, it was built in early 90s, and it fully operates since 1996. Matyáš Lerch, 1860 to 1922, was a Czech mathematician. Serves as a huge school, employs 30 plus 30 employees, who should be able to serve lots of kids. Cost under 5 times more than the original school. Yeah, okay, so that's expensive, but it's huge and beautiful and of course unique. So you can find it in the mod section, in the school section, and we should have it around here. There we go, Matyáš Lerch. It has, wow, okay, it's only 50,000 rubles. It's not that expensive, and it's a really beautiful building. You can see the details here a lot. I'm not gonna compare it to the real building. You have those comparisons in the well, Google section of internet, but if you want to compare it, but it looks quite like the original one. Anyway, description of the more description in the description of the video. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Mr. AI Games. AlG Universal Storage. AlG Universal Storage includes 2 versions with and without rails. Okay, first of all, looks beautiful, it's unique. The one with rails has, of course, railroad on the side. Looks really nice, I love it. But, there's always a but. There's never, not always a but in this case there's but. They both cost the same amount of money. This is, first of all, in the description of the mod, put the storage capacities. It's helpful with the storage capacities. I didn't know what the storage capacity is until I actually built it. So it will be 680 tons of crops, chemicals 255, fabric just under 600, and so on, as you can see here on the screen. I'm not gonna go into it. That's a first thing. And the second thing, I think there's only 2 things. they cost the same, which is quite surprising because they shouldn't. This one has electrified railroad connecting to it, so it should be a little bit more expensive. I will check this because I didn't check it initially. If we go to our storage area, it should be over here. Let's go all the way to the end. Yes, they both they both cost the same. So if you buy it with rubles, it's 20,227. Yes, and material-wise, you can see that none of them requires. The left one is with the railroads. It doesn't require a little bit more steel and a little bit more electrical components, which this one should, I think, just plonk in like ton of each and something like that, comparable to how much railroads will be here. This is small, miserable. Probably I'm nitpicking here, but I think the building on the left should cost more. And I love it more because I love rails. So this is the one I'm gonna be using, but it would be really cool if it was a little bit more expensive. Anyway, this is the storage facility, both of them, and they look really, really cool. They're not large, but they still keep decent amount of storage. Minsk Gallery Tenements, Mr. Bremerd, he's actually a YouTuber as well. Check out his YouTube channel, but also check out this mod. So these are the Minsk Gallery Tenements, and that's the description of the mod. It's a really, really beautiful building. Just a heads up, if you can put the number of apartments. This looks like a brutalist style building. I'm not an expert, but this looks really, really good. I love that the windows have. I'm gonna show all the mods at night as well, but I wonder how the light comes through the windows. Looks really, really detailed. You can see a little bit of these. How do we call it? It's balconies that are kind of separated to extend the square footage or square meters of the apartment. They're just like enclosed balconies. I forgot the original name. And look at this. This is probably an elevator shaft and a staircase, and looks really cool. I love this building. I'm definitely gonna be using this. Look, dude, thanks for this. This is really cool building. I will be using this on a large scale. Check out the description of the video, and there's a link to this building as well. You might be saying, what the hell is this? Where's the mod here? Actually, there's two mods over here. You can see the splitters. Splitter 20 kilovolt and it's Cyrillic. Razvetvilь. Okay, I'm not gonna butcher Russian. Medium voltage splitter with anchor supports A10/1. It is alternative to vanilla switch gear point designed to connect 2.35 megavolts double circuit line with 1.2 megavolts single circuit lines. There are two versions branching to the left and to the right. Yes, right. So this is something. This is just a. It's just a splitter. It's similar to the ones that we have in the game. It's similar to the let's call it switches. It's same as this, but it's kind of more realistic in a way where you would have higher voltage going into a smaller one, and especially if you want to design your cables how they work, you can do that. So for example, if you want to have a big 2.35 watts cables coming into the smaller ones, you can do that. Now let me show you how this looks like. This would be under power transformers, and that would be over here. So this is how they look in the vanilla version. So we have one of them here and one of them over here. I'm just gonna let them finish. Just give me a second, and I'm gonna show you how exactly it looks like. Unfortunately, you would have to pay for the third connection over here, so for the pillar, which is usually the expensive one. So here you go. It doesn't show until you build it, but when you build it, and then you have this splitter. Actually goes two ways, so you can choose which one you want to connect where, but they work perfectly fine. I'm gonna demonstrate because all our power supply is connected through there. You're gonna see it in a second. Okay, let's start slowly. This was made by Mr. Hipporian, British Rail Class 37. You can see here 3 locomotives connected to a single cart. This is just for demonstrational purposes. I'm gonna show them off like this. They're seven or eight variants of this locomotive. This is kind of iconic British locomotive, and I think definitely deserves to be included over here. You see 3 of them connected there. I will demonstrate only those 3. You have the black one, green one, and green one here. Of course, they have many more different colors: white, green, red, all the different color schemes that you can imagine. Well, probably that they come in real life. And let me read a description, brief history. As the United Kingdom moved forward, they found that their fleet of steam locomotives was beginning to show its age. As much they began to replace their fleet of diesels. Among this new lineup was the Class 37, designed as a multi-purpose locomotive by English Electric. This locomotive became one of the most common on the British railroad network, with more than 300 locomotives produced every day. In the 21st century, more than 60 remain in standard service. Will you seek to employ the versatile, long-lasting workhorse in your republic? Details: available 1960 to 75, maximum speed 140 km per hour. That's pretty fast. Power 1,305 kilowatts. That's decent. Weight 102 tons. I have no idea about this. And right, we have skins available: British Railway Black, Green, British Rail Blue, British Rail Freight, London Midland, Scotland. Fictional Soviet livery red and fictional Soviet livery lime, and police question mark, and change log, but that's the description. Okay, anyway, so these are the locomotives we have, and you can find more details in the description. Mr. Hiporian made this mod. Check out the link in the description. Okay, Mr. Toprus, KWK Wieczorek unloading bridge. Right, Mr. Toprus made this one. This one doesn't have any collisions, just a heads up, so you have to design it perfectly. Obviously, I did a bad job, and this is how it looks when it's not designed perfectly. You can see on this side how rail is going through the concrete. I should have raised this side of the way bridge a little bit higher. Now, what the hell is this? This is a storage. Plain and simple, but it's a quite versatile storage. It's a realistic building from Poland, and you can see here how it works. Train comes above it and then just dumps the load in there. Unfortunately, I have 3 locomotives here, and they can unloading from there, but they are unloading coal here. You have 2 loading bays for vehicles, but in his description, I will read the description first. These loading bays are really slow, so I'll try to avoid them. Conveyor belts are much better option in this case, but let me read this. Hi guys, this building is something very unusual. The aggregate unloading bridge from KWK Wieczorek. It was part of the Polish sand railways until recent, when it was stopped operation. The last train on the sand railway ran at the end of 2020. These unloading bridges are very common here. The construction and mechanics behind are very simple but effective. The bridge has guiding edge on each side, which makes the body of a wagon go up, releasing the load down, where it can be picked up by trucks or conveyor. These bridges were used to unload sand, which mines used to cover up the old tunnels to avoid the risk of falling apart or damaging something. In the game, it stores and unloads all aggregate. Unloading speed is a little bit faster than the vanilla unloading speed unloading station, but loading trucks is quite slow. It has one track connection, one road connection plus 2 vehicle stations, and 2 conveyor output connections. Stores maximum 1,500 tons of load. The construction is something you might need to fiddle around with to make it work properly. You need to raise the ground exactly to the level where the concrete base ends, otherwise track will be bent up or down. I'm going to demonstrate this, actually already saw it. It has no collisions, therefore before or during placement. I hope you have fun, blah blah blah, all this cheerful stuff that he usually puts in there. But anyway, so this is the structure he has, and this is what happens if you don't align it perfectly. This one is a little bit better, but not ideal. It's not that hard. If you play with the terrain a little bit, it's not that hard to do it. You can find it in the storage section. For me, it's gonna be one of the last ones we have here. maybe not. No, I installed this one a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna find it in a second. Here we go. Aggregate unloading bridge. So this is how it looks like, and you can place it anywhere, but make sure that you place the ending that it's as parallel as it can be. For example, if I build this bridge over here, and I'll show you how it looks like. Probably should pay for it. I just wanted to demonstrate how the end of the railroad can be actually looking quite good, but here we go. Let me just quickly do this. And there we go. This is how it should look. This is how it should look, not like this. If you play around with it, if you place it perfectly, it's gonna look really nice. If you place it badly, like I did here, you're gonna have some railroad missing. It's gonna work, there's no issues about it, but it's just gonna look wonky. There you go, Mr. Toprus. Right, and the last one. Okay, the last one. Aosta Valley Redux. Leo Skinny is the modder who made this. The Aosta Valley is a small region in the northwest of the Italian Alps bordering both France and Switzerland, known to most of its tourist landscapes and skiing destinations, as well as holding the slope of the Mont Blanc. In this map I realized very close approximation of the real topography of the province with real elevation data and historic population and resource distribution, with most of the cultural villages and landmarks represented. This is a Redux version of my first attempt, substantially more advanced and playable, as I have much more experience in map making than when I started. The orography, with orography of the valley, with rough terrain and little plains around it, the Dora River makes for a hard industrial process. Although the extraction of coal and iron to make the steel was historically attempted with success, the newly independent state would probably be better served with investment in its tourism industry, with French and Italian visitors both at both ends of the valley could easily bring an ample amounts of cash. Thus the description of the map. Now this is gonna be challenging. If you want to base on tourism, fine, you do you, because this is it's gonna be really challenging if you're gonna go for industry. I'm gonna show you why. Now the map looks magnificent. It's so heavily forested, as where the forest can grow, it's thick one. It has beautiful roads, beautiful winding locations. For tourism it will be magnificent, but you know my stance on tourism at the moment. And this one has such a beautiful valleys and a lot of nice stuff. Now this is really hard. If you're not gonna play with tourism, this is gonna be quite difficult, and I might accept the challenge. I'm gonna show you why. As you enjoy the pictures over here of this beautiful river and landscape, I'm gonna now stop it and show you what's the deal with this. Let's just get to the border of Italia here. For some reason Italia is a communist one. But anyway, this is the only border crossing you have. This is the only border crossing and only connection, at least that I could find. I'm gonna check the map right now. This is how the map looks. It's heavily hilled area. It has only few resources. Forget about oil, forget about uranium, forget about that. Bauxite is as well. It's gonna be hard. You have only one source of coal all the way in the end here. I do apologize. I think I found the border crossing on the other side here. Yes, I missed that one when I was looking. Here we go. It's a border crossing to the other side, appears to be. Yeah, there we go. So we have the NATO border crossing as well. Right, so coal is close to the French border, let's say. Coal is here in these mountains. Now it's going to be really hard to extract that. You have a small town everywhere around here, so technically you can do it, but it's going to be difficult. Railroads or whatever you want to implement here, it's going to be really difficult to get them here. Iron, on the other hand, is a little bit more plentiful, but it's also not as close to the main lines where you're going to be doing most of your construction. Iron is based here in the southern, that would be actually northern part. You have a valley here and a little bit of industry. What I would suggest, probably get the coal over here and then build your steel industries around here. There is some space for some construction. You might make it. And then there's bauxite, which is so you can use it. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be quite challenging. Right, there are a couple of valleys with the flat grounds that you can build your industry in, like for example here, which are a couple of, I wouldn't say the biggest cities, but they're, compared to the other ones, they are on a bigger side. While the other ones don't have a lot of valleys where you can construct. You can see you're gonna use every square meter of your space. I don't think farming is gonna be a big thing on this map. Okay, suggestion, I'm gonna link right here to another video I made. It's about import-based economy, where you can start importing oil and start making money that way. Maybe it would be helpful if you plonk a refinery somewhere close to the border and import oil and export. You can check the video. Anyway, that's it. That's 9 mods. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. They're really, really beautiful. I really appreciate all of you guys and our modding community. This is really, really amazing community. I love it. It's my pleasure to be here. Anyway, like, subscribe, notification bell, hit it, comment section, hit it as well, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.